I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. A Flagler Beach police officer tests positive for COVID-19. The officer is at home self-isolating and his condition is being monitored by the local health department. A second officer is also self-isolating for 14 days after coming into contact with the officer who tested positive. Now the front lobby of the police department is closed and all fingerprinting operations have been suspended indefinitely. Hand sanitizer has been placed at exits and officers have been issued personal protective equipment.
It's hard to contain and it causes a lot of serious illness.
And Flagler Department of Health Medical Director Dr. Stephen Bickle tells us what makes COVID-19 such a dangerous virus.
It's very contagious. As we're seeing how rapidly it spreads, they talk about this exponential growth. It goes from one person to 2 to 4. It's definitely a lot more contagious than influenza. And the second thing is that it causes, in quite a few people, serious disease. I mean, the estimates are 10 to 20% of populations will end up in the hospital, which is a huge number, and obviously much more in the elderly.
Bickle says COVID-19 can easily overwhelm the healthcare system,
including fill up all your ICU beds in a matter of weeks, to the point where in some areas they've even had to triage patients, selecting who would get this level of care.
Flagler County currently has at least 4 cases of COVID-19. Amid COVID-19 concerns, one local official is self-isolating. John Arking has the story.
Flagler Beach City Manager Larry Newsom says he woke up sick on Monday, and while he believes it's only allergies, he says considering what's going on in the world right now, it just seemed the best course of action to work from home.
I just thought it wasn't smart for me to come into work, and I really did. I had a very bad cough, but my temperature is fine. The bottom line is that I just thought it was best that I not go into the office for the next few days and just try to get over this. Not just because I'm taking this whole thing lightly, but also I do feel like I'm going through pretty much a sinus issue.
Newsom says he plans to get tested soon just to be sure, but adds that working from home has its advantages most of the time.
In respect for my employees, I'm going to keep myself at home. And thank God for the computer age, because I can do a lot of work from home. And actually, I'm not being disturbed outside my wife.
From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
There is no vaccine for the coronavirus or COVID-19 yet.
That's why Flagler County Health Department's Bob Snyder says there is hope that the feds will speed up the requirements for the FDA or effective coronavirus vaccines.
One is already out there in the market. It's an anti-malaria drug, and there's an anti-Ebola drug.
Snyder said that the 2 drugs are one of the top issues and that we should hear as a nation when those drugs are on the market to vaccinate against COVID-19. To listen to the interview, download the Flagler radio app and then go to the Free for All Friday podcast. Tomorrow, there's more on COVID-19. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
The Flagler County Emergency Operations Center is set to begin broadcasting. Tony Magoo has the details.
With us this morning is Flagler County's Emergency Manager, Jonathan Lohr. Jonathan, why don't you tell us about the EOC radio studio?
So the EOC studio is a miniature version of a radio broadcast studio. The purpose of it is to allow us to quickly break away from what we're doing in the Emergency Operations Center, regardless of weather or anything else that's going on.
So you guys break in to broadcast emergency information on WNZF without leaving your facility.
We're quite busy and so tied up in the Emergency Operations Center now, making sure that we can take care of our community. It actually makes it much easier so we don't have to drive, which then takes up more time.
During this time of self-quarantine, the fact that you don't have to leave your building is a huge advantage.
Limiting our contact, the emergency management personnel's contact with others out in the community also helps us show that we are ourselves practicing social distancing.
So listen for up-to-the-minute updates on local emergencies and COVID-19 information here at WNZF. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Tony Magoo.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.